Hi YouTube, it's Jay. So today I want to talk to you guys about a topic that I've seen a lot of people discuss before, and there are just a couple things that I want to add. So the topic is how do you know that you're ready to move in with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and some of the things to make that transition of living together easier, or some of the things that you might want to consider before you two move in together. So I've had both experiences. I've lived alone. I've been able to do things however I want to do things, and then I've lived with a boyfriend, and it's been a different experience than obviously than living alone. So there are just a couple of things that I want to point out that might help make the transition smoother, or that you might want to just consider and decide if it's the right time or not. So the main thing is, how long have you two been seeing each other? How long have you two been dating? Obviously, couples that have been together longer know each other better. They know each other's quirks, they know what makes each other upset, they know how the person reacts when they get upset, and they usually know what to do to kind of smooth things over or to make things better. When you're, newly dating somebody and you're only seeing each other on the weekends or a couple hours after work or a couple days during the week, you don't always get to see every side of that person, because you know that you have an allotted amount of time that you're going to spend together. You know that you only have the weekends or you only have a few hours. So you're really going to want to make the best of it and keep the drama and, fights to a minimum. So when you live together and you see that person every day, things do tend to change. You see that person at their worst. You see that person when they're angry. You see that person when they're stressed out. You see that person when they're tired. You see that person when they're not just putting on that happy face that, hey, let's have fun, let's make this a good night type of facade. Okay, so you really get to see every aspect of the person, and that is an adjustment in itself. I mean, it really takes years to really get to know somebody. And even then, do you ever really know somebody? The answer is no. But, learning how to live with them is something that does take time. So with my personal situation, as far as how long I knew somebody when I lived with them, I did have a boyfriend that I dated all through college, and then we lived together. So we were together for a total of 6 years. So we knew each other pretty well. But then when we moved in together, there were still some things about this person that I started to discover that I didn't know. And we spent basically every day together in college. But when you live together, you do see different sides to the person that you didn't see before. I also lived with somebody that I only knew for a couple of months, 3 months. So that was a really, really fast move in, and it does take time to get to know the person. So the point that I'm making is, you can spend 6 years with somebody, you can spend 3 months with somebody, and still not really know everything about them. But the more time that you do spend with them, the easier it is to get accustomed to their behavior. So one of the main things that you're going to want to discuss is the finances. Who's going to pay for what? Who's going to cover what bills? If there is somebody who, let's say, is going to take on more of the responsibilities with the bills, what are they going to expect you to do in return? Meaning, are they going to expect you to do more of the chores, more of the cooking, more of the cleaning, the shopping, whatever it is? You really want to discuss those things, because that can create a lot of tension if those things are not discussed. And this is common in relationships where there's like a large age gap between the two people. Let's say one person's a lot older and they're already established, and the other person is maybe a little bit younger. They're still in school, they're still trying to figure out their career. So one person might be taking on more of the financial responsibilities, and then that other person might be expected to do more to make up for that. But you have to be kind of careful with this type of situation, because from personal experience, the person that is maybe the younger person might start to feel like it's a parent-child relationship, where the other person is expecting certain things from that younger person, but those things have not really been laid out and discussed. So then that other person is upset when, let's say, dishes aren't cleaned or laundry's not done, or little things that were never really laid out. So you really want to lay everything out and put the expectations on the table first. That brings me to my next issue, which is the issue of chores. How are you going to divide up the chores? Who's going to do what? But not only who's going to do what, but how often are the chores going to be done? Let's say you're somebody who cleans your bathroom once a week, or let's say you're somebody who cleans your bathroom every 2 weeks or a couple times a week. Whatever the case may be, you want to see how that aligns with your boyfriend or girlfriend. They might be the complete opposite of you. So even though you're doing these chores, you're doing these things, you're not doing it as often as they would like. Or, you want them to do it a lot more, or you want to switch up the chores a lot more, and you want to just change the way that you guys distribute the chores. So those are things that you really have to discuss. I would even make a list. I would write these things down. Whatever you have to do, it might sound dramatic, but it does take a lot of stress off the table when you have a set of like a tangible list to look at and to know, okay, you're responsible for this, I'm responsible for that. And, seeing how your personalities work together, that's going to be the biggest obstacle. If you have somebody who's a real type A personality and they're very strict and they're very disciplined and by the books, and then you have somebody who's very laid back and, like I said, they'll get to it when they get to it, it'll get done, let them do it on their own time. These two personalities are going to clash. Now, hopefully your relationship has a lot of positives that can outweigh some of this, because those tensions can start to add up, or those differences in, personalities and how you guys handle things and how you structure your life can start to create some tension. So the best thing to do is to talk about everything. Keep in mind that person's not you. That person's not going to do everything your way, and you're not going to do everything that person's way. So you really need to try to keep an open mind and try to be understanding when it comes to just adjusting to the personality and what that person likes versus what you like. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the cooking. So sometimes one person is a better cook, sometimes one person can't cook. Okay, but the main thing is the person who can't cook, are they willing to learn? Or are they willing to help out? Will they do the grocery shopping and clean the dishes if one person agrees to cook all the time? Or are you going to be one of those couples that just goes out, to eat, goes out all the time, or gets fast food, which I don't really recommend. I do think that both people should, learn how to cook something, learn how to make, just at least one decent meal, so that it's just a starting point. You can practice. Cooking is not easy. I'm not the best cook. I just Google certain recipes and try to make different things. But you really want to make sure that you're both equally distributing the responsibilities of the household. Another important thing that you are going to want to discuss is each other's sleeping habits. So maybe somebody likes to go to sleep really early on certain nights of the week. Somebody likes to stay up a lot later. These are things, they might seem minor and they might seem silly, but these are things that are really going to start to get on the other person's nerves. So let's say that you're somebody who likes to sleep in late. The other person likes to wake up early and have breakfast together or go out for breakfast. These are the things that you're going to want to discuss. Like, okay, on the weekends, I sleep until 10, I sleep until 11, whatever the case may be. During the weekday, I like to go to sleep at, let's say, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Let the other person know some of your quirks, because when it comes to getting sleep, I don't know about you, but if I don't get enough sleep, I am very irritable. So letting the person know what time you prefer to go to sleep, what time you prefer to wake up, it does help, and it helps them to just be more mindful of if they're going to have the TV on loud or they're going to have friends over. Kind of letting them know like a certain time is really, really helpful in just keeping the peace. So, I mean, these are just some minor things that I've noticed, and I hope that they help you guys out. I hope that you really sit down and you really decide if it's something that you're ready for. Because living together can be a great thing, but living with somebody who you're not compatible with can ultimately damage the relationship, end the relationship, and make your living situation very, very stressful. So, weigh out all the pros and cons, all these little things, really talk about them first, really sit down and have conversations with each other, make lists if you need to, but you're really never going to know unless you try something. So if it doesn't work, you definitely want to know what the next step will be. Meaning, will that person move out? Will you move out? Will you both move out? Can you afford to pay for the place by yourself? Who's gonna leave? Who's gonna do what? These are things that, although we don't like to talk about, they should really be discussed. But ultimately, like I said, it is your decision. So do what you feel is best for you. I'm just trying to share some tips that I feel are going to be beneficial. All right, so if you guys have any comments or you want to share your own personal experiences, please leave some comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.